Hi. It's been a really long time since I've done this, and let me just say I am scared. I am not gonna lie, I am scared. Okay, a long time ago, I started, I have no idea, I must have been praying or something, and I found this in the Bible whenever my son was here, Tristan, one night, and I was flipping through the Bible, and it says in Timothy, 1 Timothy chapter 6, it says, "Command those who are rich with things of this world not to be proud. Tell them to hope in God, not in their uncertain riches. God richly gives us everything to enjoy. Tell the rich people to do good, to be rich in doing good deeds, to be generous and ready to share. By doing that, they will be saving a treasure for themselves as a strong foundation for the future. Then they will be able to have the life that is true life." That's verses 17, 18, 19 in 1 Timothy chapter 6. Okay. I'm just going to say I was scared to, whenever I was like, how am I going to do this, God? I'm like, I'm so scared. So this is the only way that I know to do it. So this is how I'm doing it. Okay, so I'm going to start off with a dream I had a long time ago. I dream almost every night, sometimes twice a day, twice a night. So I'm going to start off with a dream I had. And I was in a house, and it had been on fire. And there was a book, and I saw a book, and it was this book. And I have no idea if you can see this or not, but it's Dean Koontz's Dark Rivers of the Heart. So, it was in a house that was burnt. It was in a bedroom. I can't remember what bedroom it was. Well, the only house that I knew of that caught on fire was my grandma and grandpa Paxton's house in Benton, Illinois. So, my ex, Dave Cunningham, is or was a fan of Dean Koontz, because whenever I was in high school, I read this book. I used to read it in study hall in the Commons. It's Dean Koontz's Hideaway, and it has an ambulance on it. That's how I remembered it. It was the first book I ever read of his. So I have no idea if he's still a fan of Dean Koontz or not. I haven't seen him in years, so I have no idea. But anyway, so what I was taught as a Christian to, if there's like something that's like, a lot of information like this book. So I read the whole book and find out what stands out to you. Well, okay, first of all, I'm seeing it now, and I'm like, maybe I saw that wrong. I was like, he's wearing a watch. Well, in the picture of the six of us, Stephanie, Russell, me and Dave are in the middle, and Brian and Jamie are on the left. Yeah. So I'm wearing a watch in the picture, and whenever I first looked at this, he's wearing a watch. But it wasn't on. I'm wearing a watch on my right wrist, and he's wearing a watch on his left wrist. And evidently, whenever I first looked at it, I saw it wrong. But that's still good. And I'll tell you later why. In another video. Okay, so. Another dream I had. Anyway. Okay, so. I have no idea how long this video can be, so you know. So I'm going to try to make it as short as I can. So. Okay. So on page 144, the word 18 stood out. So I have no idea if you can see that, but there it is. Okay. So I circled 18, and on page 145, 16. So I circled 16, and in biblical numbers, Dave Hetty taught me that 16 is love. So I was like, okay, God, what are you trying to tell me? You know, because I believe that God talks to me and people through dreams. In the Bible, he talked to people in dreams. Joseph, Daniel, I forgot who all, but, okay, so, page 147, 15 years, March 6, 88, so those are all circled. I have no idea if you can see that. Okay. Page 149, 149, 16. I have no idea if you can see that. I'll try to get as close to it as I can. Okay. 151, evidently the whole page. I'll read that later. I'll read the whole pages later. 152, evidently the whole page. 153, evidently the whole page. 154, evidently the whole page. 156, evidently the whole page. 157, evidently the whole page. This is looking back on it because this was years ago. I forgot how many years ago it was I had this dream. 160, evidently the whole page. 161, evidently the whole page. 162, 163, 165. And I have underlined, the Explorer and Spencer drove from the south wing of the motel to the north wing, where the coffee shop was located. And then I have like a parentheses or something. Driving south on the coast highway toward LA, Roy put his cellular unit on speakerphone mode and called Kleck in Orange County. And I have underlined at John Wayne Airport on Wednesday. Okay. And 168, I have specific underlined and stuff. Oh, here. Sorry, I forgot. And I underline specific because I believe that, you know, sometimes whenever you're praying and you're asking God for something, sometimes You need to be specific. Okay, so, and then page 170, it says, anyway, it was his dreams. So I circled dream because I had a dream about the book. And 171, evidently the whole page. 172, evidently the whole page. Now 194. I have plastic, however, would take more than 300 years to completely disintegrate. And throughout that period, toxic chemicals would leach from it into the suffering sea. He should have dumped the Tupperware in one of his trash cans that stood at intervals along the pier railing. Well, too late. He was human. That was always the problem. I have no idea why that stood out to me, but evidently it did. Okay, and then I have, for a while, Roy leaned against the railing. He stared into the infinity of sky and water, brooding about the human condition. As far as Roy was concerned, the saddest thing in the world was that human beings, for all their ardent striving and desire, could never achieve physical, emotional, and intellectual perfection. The species was doomed to imperfection. It thrashed forever in despair or denial of the fact. And then, even so, she had been one of the fortunate, because the vast majority of people were imperfect in every detail. I circled every. They would never know the singular confidence and pleasure that must surely arise from the possession of even one flawless feature. Roy was blessed with a repetitive dream, which came to him 2 or 3 nights every month, and from which he always woke in a state of rapture. In the dream, he searched the world over for women like Guinevere, and from each he harvested her perfect feature. From this one, a pair of ears so beautiful they made his foolish heart pound almost painfully. From that one, the most exquisite ankles that it was within the mind of a man to contemplate. Yet from yet another, the snow white sculptured teeth of a goddess. He kept these treasures in magic jars where they did not in the last deteriorate, and when he had collected all the parts of the ideal woman, he assembled them into the lover for whom he had always longed. She was so radiant in her unearthly perfection that he was half blinded when he looked upon her, and her slightest touch was purest ecstasy. Unfortunately, he always woke from the paradise of her arms. In life, he would never know such beauty. Dreams were the only refuge for a man who would settle for nothing less than perfection. And next to that, I wrote, I see you. I'm assuming that I was saying that God sees me. That's what I'm assuming. That's what that meant. Okay, and then in parentheses, he knew that he was both a romantic and a tragic figure. There were those who would even call him a fool, but at least he dared to dream, and dream big. Sighing, he turned away from the uncaring sea and walked back to his car in the parking lot. And then in parentheses I have, what made her special, however, what filled Roy with reverence for the divine power that had created humankind with her perfect eyes. They were more arresting and compelling than even the eyes of Captain Harris Descato of the Los Angeles Police Department. Dark yet limpid, enormous yet perfectly proportioned to her face, direct yet enigmatic. They were eyes that had seen what lay at the heart of all meaningful mysteries. They were the eyes of a sinless soul, yet somehow also the eyes of a shameless voluptuary, simultaneously coy and direct. Eyes to which every deceit was as transparent as glass, filled with spirituality and sexuality and a complete understanding of destiny. Okay, and then the whole page of 204, and then the whole page of 212, 213, 224, 225, 226, and on 231 I have the word jumped circled. Jumped. And 261 and 267 exploding. I have the word exploding circled. And 409. That's the last page. 409, let's go, underlined. Los Angeles, circled. May West, circled. BMW, because I had a dream that I had a BMW car. Royal Purpose, circled. This beautiful house was only ashes waiting for the fire. Burnt Dreams. Okay, I hadn't ever read this book before. The only book that I had ever read was Hideaway with the ambulance on it in high school. So whenever I read that, I was like, somebody's trying to tell me something. So I thought it was God. So, and plus to my ex is a Christian. He's the reason that I became Christian. So, like, before, I believed in God before, but I went to Catholic church and I was raised a Catholic and you know, so I believed in God, but he was Pentecostal. So, anyway, that's it for this video. I hope it helps somebody out there, and